This is Sana Kibz, and I am here today with Queen Esther, and she is going to talk to us about something that is super important to a lot of women, especially those in their 30s and up who are trying to have children. So I hope you guys are ready for today's conversation. And Queen Esther, thank you. And please tell us why it was important to share your story.
Because a lot of times we don't talk about it. Women need to know what's available out there for us. And so I went through it, and I didn't get that many people available to share it with or to learn from. So for me, it's very important that I'm able to share my little knowledge and my experience, so everybody can hopefully be able to have the opportunity to go through this process if that's what they want.
Yes. And we are talking about egg freezing. Woo! Just even saying that out of my mouth.
It's a taboo.
Woo! It's a stigma. So a lot of people go through things such as egg freezing, even PCOS, fibroids, and
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
And they do not want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Why did you say, I'm going to bring my story to YouTube and the people that watch?
Well, when I started this journey, a few of my friends didn't really know about it. And so when I decided, okay, I'm comfortable now enough to talk about it. I've gone through the emotions because it's a very emotional process. I've gone through the emotions, I've dealt with it, I've dealt with the positive and the negative of it. And the few people that I was able to share it with, directly were so happy to learn about it and motivated, and I wanted to go through the process also. And so for me, I'm okay, if people are happy to hear about it, then I need to be able to share this more, because we need to get rid of the stigma, and make it more of a girl conversation where, hey girl, I did this, how did you do this, right? Then having to feel that shame of egg freezing, of infertility, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of times we are blamed, right? Oh, you can't have a baby, but sometimes it's just not about, let's be all grown, have sex and have a baby. It's not that easy anymore.
And listen, they made it seem like it was when we were being taught about sex education. You did one man, one woman. They didn't tell us about cycles and the periods, like the time frames of having children. Yeah. And you said shame, and you said something else that I feel like resonates a lot with being a foreigner. They put the blame on women if they cannot have children, and they put the blame on us if we get to a certain age. So briefly just tell us, before we just really jump into the egg freezing process, what even being a foreigner, and like where are you from, and what even being a foreigner, like it's already tough being a woman and dealing with it, and then also being a foreigner and dealing with it. So please walk us through how that was for you.
So I'm Nigerian, right? Akwa Ibom, Nigerian, and I come from a family where my mom is, evangelist, pastor. I have uncles and aunties that are all pastors, right? So already to even think about doing this is like only Jesus can help.
Which he can.
He can, absolutely.
But sometimes science.
So just even the idea of even like doing it and knowing where I come from, it's just like already a taboo. I think for me, when I started even thinking about even going through this process of egg freezing was when I turned 30, right? Obviously we go for a yearly OBGY, what woman exam and all that. And my doctor was like, you need to go get your eggs frozen. I'm like, I'm fine, I'm 30. Like, I'm gonna get married, I will have kids and everything will be fine. She was like, no, go get your eggs frozen, right? Because you always want to have a little bit assurance, just in case. And we all know being Nigerian or just being African, once you hit 30 and you're not married,
the way the aunties in the village would just be looking at you like spoiled goods.
Like, so when I heard it, I was like, oh no, I'm fine. And then you hit 31, 32, 33, right? And you're not married, so it's like a whole different thing. So for me, it got to a certain age when I turned 35, and I was like, okay, it's time to do it, right? I'm not married, and but it's not even just about being married and having kids. It's the fact that there are a lot of married women that are going through fertility issues, right? So for me, there were two things that were important to me. One, I want to have my reassurance, right? Yes, I'm single, but secondly, even in my marriage, right, as I get older, if I don't get married tomorrow, so I want to make sure that I have done something to provide for I and my husband to be able to build our family. So those were kind of like my mindset, you know. It's not about, because a lot of times people, when some people, oh, you want to get your eggs frozen, it's more of, oh, you just want to have a child by yourself. No, it's not really that.
Yes.
You know, you are doing something for you and your future husband.
Yes.
Just in case the
case.
natural process doesn't happen.
Exactly.
You have your frozen eggs to be able to help you, you know, to be able to build your family.
And that actually goes into the next question, because with egg freezing, I did a little bit of research because I know I was interviewing you. There's embryos.
Yes.
Which I want you to explain what that is. And then there's just egg freezing.
Yes.
So embryo will, like, you can just let us know, because that's when you have the male partner, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And so that's why it's not just with a woman that's single. You can also have a spouse and you guys together decide.
Absolutely.
So please, if you could just break down the difference between just you freezing your eggs and then you freezing embryos.
Yeah. So again, I'm not a doctor, so you know, this might not be medically perfect, but egg freezing is just really me just taking out my own eggs and saving it for future purpose. When it comes to the embryo, it's when both the male sperm and the eggs are already mixed together, and then we save that. A lot of times people just go through the whole process of IVF, right? So you mix both the egg and the sperm, they make sure that everything is good quality, and then they inject it into the woman. So there are two different, and honestly, men also freeze their sperms.
Okay, it's not just women doing this process. Okay.
Men freeze their sperms, and it's actually very advisable for men to freeze their sperm, because these days, I mean, there's prostate cancer happening, you know, so you definitely want to like freeze that. So it's just not about women. Yes, more women do it than men, but that's really the main difference. For me, I froze my eggs so I can just use it in the future. And in the future, it could be just them putting it back inside of me, and I have sex with my husband, and then all that, or it's taking my husband's sperm and mixing it with my eggs and making that embryo first to hopefully be able to have a baby. Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to jump into the process. So is it a doctor's visit first? Is it your OBGYN, then a fertility? Can you go straight to the egg freezing fertility? Yeah. Do you need a referral? And then we'll break down more like the cost, medications, but just tell us about that initial, once I have the idea to do this, what is then next? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the easiest way, and most people probably go through the same thing, is going through your OBGYN doctor, right? So you've already built that relationship with them, you go to them every single year, they know your body a little bit more. But I think a lot of times we women think, oh, if I just go do my well woman exam, that's fine. Honestly, it's not. It is not, because they don't really get to see what's inside of you, right? So go to your OBGYN doctor, then refer you to a fertility doctor, or you can honestly just research one yourself. Right. I don't think you necessarily need a referral, but it's always good. So my doctor referred me to the hospital that I went to, and for me it was very important that I picked exactly who I really wanted. So I went, and I definitely wanted a female doctor, and I wanted a woman of color. But it was not a body, right? Also, very important to pick someone that's also close by to you. Okay. And I'll tell you why later on. So I found a doctor that was close by to me, a female doctor, a woman of color, and you make the appointments, right? You will not please spend about an hour to 2 hours for consultation, because they are going to ask you every question in the book. If you think you want to keep your secrets, don't go. There's no secrets.
Okay.
She will ask you everything.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. What you eat. How many times you exercise, how if you smoke, if you drink, how many times do you drink? When was the last time you had sex? When was the first time you had sex? Your period. When was the first time you saw your period? Like they ask you really intimate questions, right? I think honestly, by the time we were done, I was crying. Yeah, because there are certain things that she was asking me, and just like I haven't talked about this in forever. Like this is like therapy.
When you are talking to your doctor, please try to be as honest.
Be
as
very,
possible.
very, very honest, because this is someone that's going to be seen inside of you, and they really need to know, what you've done before that really know how to help you.
Do they ask about family history? Like
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, family history. If you have any kind of disease or so, family diseases, like they literally I spent 2 hours with her. Yeah, it was very, very intense. But also, once we went through that, it gave me a little bit more understanding of what I was about to get myself into. They also go through their graphic, right? Obviously, they've done this research so many times of letting you know, okay, this is how old you are, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, this is possibly how many eggs that will probably be able to get out of you. And when they're telling you that, it's like, oh, I mean, I was 35 when I went, and I was like, okay, I'm not young.
So a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, if 25-year-old, I don't know how many they can take out. I'm not a doctor, I won't guess. But let's just say like 25. But 10 years later, maybe only 7.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So from what I was told, if between 35 to 37, I could be mixing one of those numbers, possibly about 8 to 15 that you're able to retrieve.
okay, that's good.
And then keep in mind, as a woman, you every single month you lose an egg, so it's like, yes, you will get all those, but when you finally take it out, how many is really quality eggs?
And they're able to check.
Yeah. So after the consultation, they went in and did like a full X-ray, and so they they put the little thing inside of you, and they really see your ovaries. So for me, that was really eye-opening, because it really distinguished my yearly checkup to really like, oh, let me see inside of your body. So they did that, and it was really eye-opening, because I could see my ovaries and all that. I could see my fibroids, which that was news to me. Yeah.
Really, that's
So like those things are so important to be able to just like learn about your body, right? It's obviously it's not a cheap thing to just do, but if you have the money, go check inside of you.
And what I really dislike about this process with women checkup is they've been telling us since the beginning of time to go and do pap smear, to go and do OBGYN tests. Not one time did they tell you that your uterus is separating.
Yeah.
But now when you want to go and conceive and have children and you just get this download of everything that could possibly be an issue. And I really do wish that the American health system, when it comes to women's health, just puts us first a bit more. Because if you knew when you were getting your pap smear test, you would have been dealt with it.
I'd have done this a long time ago.
So it's really just annoying that that's the process. So after you've done the consultation, is that when you get the price for your body? Or so you did the consultation, you did the transvaginal scan. Is that when they then give you the price, or do you know it before the transvaginal scan? Like, how does that process work?
Well, some hospitals will have the prices already on their website. And again, every city, every hospital is the same. Just on an average, most people pay between 10 to 20,000. That's just average.
And
right?
most don't cover it. The insurance.
Insurance doesn't cover anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. Insurance does not cover that at all.
Insurance can cover pain. Insurance can cover accident. Insurance can cover, but they don't want to cover you bringing women into this life.
At all. So that's just the average. So literally after my consultation, they gave me, the price. And I think usually the price is the same thing in every hospital.
Okay.
But now obviously your body type would determine more treatments also that you might need to do just to get you prepped for the actual egg freezing. But yes, it's for me. Mine was as of the time for just the freezing it alone, mine was 8,000. And then the medication to use before the egg freezing was about 2,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So roughly $10,500.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so
Now that doesn't include all of my ultrasounds that I had to do. Okay.
was that at least covered by insurance?
No.
No. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like about $525.
Okay, so roughly $11,000 was the process. Okay, so you mentioned body types.
Yeah.
What does that mean when it comes to egg freezing?
So, depending on what's going on with your body, the doctor will kind of advise you of what to do to prep for it. So for me, and I'll give you mine and just a friend of mine that did it. I have a friend, I think she's only about 8 years older than me. And we talked about it for a while now. And 1 month she called her doctor, set up the appointments, and within a month she got it done. And she had about 28 eggs. Perfect. For me, when I went, I'm like, okay, we've checked your ovaries, we've checked your follicles. You're not really bringing out, you're not really producing that much eggs, so we need to put you on a lot of vitamins. You need to change your diet. So I had to have a whole life change to be able to even produce as much as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
So what were some of the vitamins you were sharing?
And I'm going to butcher some names. One very important is obviously the prenatal vitamins. I also took CoQ10. And then there's one, Perstenius.
We're going to put the in the
Yeah, I'll
description.
put it there because
Yeah.
it's a long name. And then also took True Nugen. That one helps with hormones also.
Okay.
Obviously, then the vitamin A, vitamin C and D, or just then iron pills because I needed that also. So I would think I took about 8 vitamins just to kind of prep my body. I had to make sure I had a lot of water, no carbs, vegetable throughout, no meats. Yeah, so I literally had to have a whole lifestyle change.
For how long?
So mine was about 6 months, the
Okay.
whole process.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did about 6 months of renewing and redoing and rejuvenating your body,
Yeah.
and then you started the medication.
Yeah.
And then you got it pulled the eggs. Wow. See, that's the thing that a lot of us don't know. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
There's processes. There's things you have to do. There's body types that perform better. She can get it right away. There's other body types that will need vitamins. That's why I emphasize doing blood work every year so that you know where your body is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then you couldn't work out too much, but then you still have to work out.
So you can't weight lift, you can't be aggressive, but you need to walk around the neighborhood a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, keeping those things in mind.
You couldn't lift heavy things.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Okay, good to know.
Oh,
Now-
sorry. And rest.
Okay.
Very, very important. She was like, you cannot stress at all. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? Have you, do you know my job?
Oh,
You
okay.
cannot be stressed. You have to sleep a lot. Like, no stress at all. So like that whole time I'm like, please don't stress me. Like everybody knew like you could not put any kind of stress on me at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Because your body has to really have this transformation internally.
So I heard vitamins,
Yes.
rest.
Yes.
I heard keeping the demons away and not having stress.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That is good to know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that one for myself. So in regards to the medication for the actual procedure and process, I've seen everything from shots online. I've seen everything from a whole bunch of like the pills look this size. What is the medication like for extracting eggs?
So again, depending on your body and your cycle would depend on how many days that they're gonna put you on the injection. So I believe mine was 7 to 8 days that I took my shots. So I only took yeah. I had one medication and the rest were shots. I think mine was, and I have pictures and videos that I can share also. And so I had to, I would say they give you a whole manual. So you have to put it all together, put it in the injection stuff and inject yourself. Let me tell you something.
So you had to administer your own shots.
Yes. The first day, I was like, there is a lie. It's not me. It's not me. It's not me.
Ooh.
My friend was actually going to come over and help me. But I thought about it very well. I was like, okay, look, she's a mom. She's busy. She can't do this for me every single day. I need to figure out how to do it myself.
Ooh, Esther.
Yeah. Thank God my nurse was amazing. Her name is Melissa, amazing. I called her, I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like I just can't inject myself. She's like, believe me, you got this. And so she was on FaceTime with me and taught me exactly what to do. And I counted out as many times as possible if I injected myself. But honestly, once you do it the first time, you'll be fine.
Really?
I promise you. Once you do it the first time, you are fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So is it in the stomach? Is it in the, because I've seen different places. Some people I've seen stomach, some people I've seen like thigh.
Yeah.
Some people back. Where?
I did mine in the stomach.
In the stomach.
So you have to kind of like do it a little bit below your navel. So yeah, I did mine in the stomach. And you have to do it in the same spot every day. And you have to do it exactly at the same time every day.
So same spot, same time for as many days as they instructed.
Yeah. Again, this is what my doctor told me. So everybody's different, but that's what I went through.
Whew, okay, so now we've done the, how many days of shots?
So keep in mind with the shots, so when I take the shots, I have to go back to the hospital every other day. Because when you're going through the process, they want to check to see how things are, going. So every other day you want to go to the hospital, which is what I had said in the beginning. Pick a place that's close to you, because you have to be driving there. Yeah. So they will have to check you every other day to see how you are responding to the injections. On the very last day of the injection, and keep in mind your body's going to be changing a lot also. On the very last of the injection, before you take the trigger shots, which is the most important one. When I tell you, I took that shot and that's when I knew that this was real. Every emotions that could possibly come upon me came upon me. I felt like I was pregnant. Your tummy is huge. Like, you know how when we're on a period and we get bloated?
Yeah.
Forget that one.
Really? It's beyond bloating?
Forget that. I was bloated. I could not sit down. And obviously, I'm doing this in the morning, going to go get checked, and then I had to come back and be at the office. On that last day, because the other days I'll manage, I'll sit down, I'll be fine, right? For like a few hours, I'll be good. But on that last day when I took that trigger shot, I could not sit down. I was uncomfortable. I was bloated. I was in pain. I called my boss like, boss, I cannot do this, because with things like this, you cannot be secretive. So my boss, they all knew what was happening, and so they were very understanding. I was like, I cannot sit down, I can't function, I need to go home, I need to go lay down, and they're like, no problem. So, crazy me thinking, I'm gonna take my laptop home, and no, I forgot, I'm not supposed to stress. So I, got home and I just laid down. My tummy was just huge, and so it's a very uncomfortable feeling. And I think just also doing it by yourself, it's one thing to go through egg freezing, but to go through it alone, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not fun at all. Because then you're also very emotional. And I'm crying and just like, annoyed about everything. You know, everybody's pissing me off for just no reason. You know, my team, they all kind of knew about it, and they understood when I kind of got a little bit crazy. But that trigger shot was definitely
triggering.
Very triggering. Very triggering. But right after the trigger shot is when you actually go the next day for the egg freezing. Yeah, for the egg retrieval. Yeah.
So the trigger shot has triggered you, has done its duty, and now you go the next day.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility of them saying the shots or medication didn't work, you need to do more? Or is that why you're going every other day, so they can make sure you are on track?
That's why you're going every other day to make sure that you're on track, because they probably will not let you take the trigger shot until they know that you're ready.
You're good. Okay, that's good. Love that.
Yeah.
So now it is egg retrieval day.
Yeah.
Walk me through how you're feeling. Do you feel like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm happy I'm here, I'm gonna have eggs even if I get married and have a child, try to have a child later? Or is it still, why is this my portion? Like, what are all those emotions? And then walk me through the actual process of the retrieval.
It's really all of that. Because one, as a child, you have all these dreams like, when I'm 25, I'm gonna get married and have kids. And gonna have, by 35, I'm done having kids. And, I was just, be traveling. And then it's like, okay, that didn't happen. And then you're like, okay, now I'm doing it, but I'm still doing it alone. And then the third one is like, I'm doing it, but mine's not as easy as other people. So I have to go through all these changes just to do this. And so the reality is now is hitting you like, I'm not okay. My body is not as some people's body would be. Then you go into the positive. I'm grateful. I get an opportunity to be able to do this. A lot of people are not able to do this, and so I'm here now. I think for me, the hardest part was not being able to just like really honestly share it with my mom and have that support. Not that she didn't support me or anything like that. It's just more of like they're not used to things like this. If you have an African mother, they're not used to things
African,
like that.
foreign mother, it's hard for them to fathom egg freezing. It's just hard.
Yeah, so that was really hard for me. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm happy to be able to have the knowledge and the resources to be able to finally, do something for myself. And I think for me, it was the first time I really did something for myself. I've done things for other people, but it was the first time I did something valuable for me. So I did not want to take that for granted. I didn't want to look at the negative. I just wanted to just focus on, you're doing this for your future, to be a mom, to build this family that you've always dreamed of. I thank God a lot of my friends were very supportive, very, very supportive. But once I kind of changed my mindset, it was easy to just go in there and just get it done. On the day of the egg freezing, you cannot eat, obviously. You have to go in there with no water and food, and they prep you. And literally, when they rolled me into the surgical, I was like, "Am I invasive?"
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah.
It was a little bit different, and they put the anesthesia inside of you, and I was knocked out. And by the time I woke up, I was like, "Is it done?" Like, yeah.
Did they tell you how long the process? Like, were you asleep for hours? Was it 30 minutes? Like, how long were you sleeping?
I think it was probably between like 32 to an hour. It wasn't too long. And once they rolled me back, I asked my doctor how many did we retrieve, and she was like 8. And that's when it hit me even harder. Because throughout the time of me, doing my ultrasound, we'll see 11, we'll see 10, we'll see 13. So I was very hopeful. Again, my friend had done it and she got 28, and I was like, wow. It was 20, 28 between those two. So I was like really excited for her, and I was like, "Okay, Father Lord, please, if I can just have 15, I'll be happy." Because obviously I knew what my body was saying already, so I was, I had that reality. And so they rolled me, and she was like, "You had 8," and I was like, "Father Lord, why?" And she was like, "Well, let's, the most important thing is seeing how many of them are going to be quality eggs." And so when they left me, they rolled another woman out, and she had probably 20 something or so, and I just started crying, because at that moment you're just like, what is wrong with me? Why couldn't I have that too, right? And it just makes you, for a moment, you're feeling like inferior as a woman.
Do we have tissue?
But it's okay. It's okay. I thought I was gonna cry.
No, but should we grab tissue from
It's
somewhere?
okay.
It's going to forever be an emotional experience. So
Yeah. So you get those numbers, and you're just okay. Then the point, okay, Father Lord, please, okay, I have only 8. Please make all eggs be quality eggs. And my doctor was so amazing. The nurses were so amazing. They really did an amazing job taking care of me. And I believe it was that same day. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that you can drive yourself there, which is totally fine, but you cannot drive yourself back.
okay.
Yeah, so you always want to have someone to come pick you up.
Okay.
One of my friends was really amazing. She came and picked me up, and so brought me home. And then when you come home, you can't really eat that much. So you want to take like fluids or crackers is totally fine for you to have. But I think probably then I was in pain the whole day. The whole day I was in pain because they just took something out of you. I was in pain the whole day. And then the next day I kind of felt a little bit better, but I think I was probably on pain medication for about 2-3 days until I was 100% myself. But you couldn't eat that much. And the next day, my doctor called me. She was like, "Well, congratulations, we're only able to save 5."
Listen, 5 out of 8 is good. I know, not to bring up anyone, I'm not gonna say her name. I know someone who went through the first round, and they didn't have any, so she had to do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that even though yes, the 20 eggs were removed, but it could be 20 dead eggs.
True.
So just because it's a lot of eggs, that doesn't mean they're all good and quality eggs.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy that you were still able
Yes.
to get. So knock all 5 children out in Jesus' name.
Amen. 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 And I mean, it took a while for me to get to that point.
Yeah, of course. This is like after,
It took a while for me to get to that point because I was emotional. Because you've gone through a lot of changes in your body. You're thinking, okay, this is gonna work, right? And to hear that you only had 5, I'm just like, oh my God, why? Why not have more? And I'll just backtrack, even just tap into what you just said. Another friend of mine had gone through it, and or actually was going through it, and I had shared with her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I did 3 cycles before I was able to have a baby." And I was like, "Excuse me." And this is what I say, that we don't talk about this a lot. I had no idea. No idea. 3 cycles, and I think she said she had about 5 here, 4 there, and so for me, when I heard her say that before she was finally able to be pregnant, everything I went through was. I was like, "Oh, you're sitting down here being sad."
Perspective. Yeah.
Because it's one thing doing this egg freezing, right? It's another thing when you're actually married and you're trying to have a baby with your husband, and you have to go through that and 3 cycles. I mean, that's a whole different emotion, and I don't wish it on anybody at all, right? So it's just, like I said, it took me a while before I got to a space where I felt grateful, and I'm happy that I have 5 eggs frozen. But probably even after 2 months before I was even able to trash all of the injections. because I was still holding on to the pain and just the disappointments, of it. And once I prayed several times, and I, felt a lot more confident and thankful, that I was finally able to like let it go. And so, you know what, I did it. I'm so grateful that I did it, and I'm happy that I have, some, reassurance that I have a possibility of being a mom. Again, I hope I don't even have to use it, but at least it's there.
Yeah.
So that makes me very, very thankful to have to, to go through that process. Yeah. Now, what was shocking, before you even go through the freezing, all of the documentations that you have to fill out.
Really?
Yeah. They ask you a series of questions. If you die, what happens?
Like while egg freezing?
No. If you die and
oh, what do we do with your eggs?
Yeah.
Hey. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So you have to answer those kind of questions. What happens to your eggs? Do you have a will? So now I'm like, oh, I don't have a will. I need to go get a will. Should we dispose of your eggs? Should we use your eggs for research? Should we, do you want to add your spouse's name on there that can take over the eggs, if you're gone? So like you have to figure out what options that you want to go with. Yeah. And having to read that, because like a lot of pages, having to read that just like, oh no, I'm just not going to the hospital to just go do, small injection. This is a life you're bringing into the world. And it might not be a fully formed life yet, but this is a life and you're responsible for it now, and then you have to decide who is going to be responsible for the eggs when you're gone. Yeah. And so I had to sit down there and really think, like, who do I assign this to?
Yeah.
Do I dispose it? Yeah. Do I give it for research? Yeah. And yeah, you really have to dig deep and figure out what is the best option for you.
Whew, Esther, you shared so much. Okay, so we've done the vitamins and we've done the wellness journey, we've done the medication, we've done the egg retrieval, you're coping with the post-trauma of it all, and now you're on the other side. Now, is there any post-care that you had to, besides the pain medication, was there any other post-care that came with this process? That's the first question that I have. So let's just jump into any post-care.
I think really just continue to maintain the lifestyle that you've already started, right? So eating healthy, working out, and all that definitely still helps to get your body back to normal, because you've taken out so much already, and you would bleed for a few days afterwards. Yeah, because I had bled for a few days afterwards. But it's just really continuously taking care of your body. Now, for me, I did that for a few months, and then life happened, and I kind of went back to not being as healthy as I should have been or should be. So now I'm trying to get myself back into that mindset. So like juicing, which you're very juicing and working out and not stressing. I mean, I could not count how many times the doctor was like, you cannot stress. The way stress affects our ovaries.
Ooh, talk about it.
The way stress affects our ovaries is on a whole different level.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes I joke with my friends, I'm like, I cannot stress my babies. My babies, I gotta protect my babies, so like really learning not to stress is definitely important. But I think just maintaining a good healthy lifestyle is very important. That way that, again, the hope is not to use the eggs, but your body's already prepped and ready. For me personally, I still have a few of those. I continue taking the vitamins. The only thing that I don't take is a prenatal and CoQ10, but the other ones I still take just to keep my body still in active, fertility process. So that when that time comes, it's a little bit more easier for me. It's really now knowing the kind of body that I have. And again, that I'm not getting any younger. So just continuously having those vitamins in my body is definitely going to be good for me.
Yeah, I'm a vitamin queen. With the fibroid journey, it really made me change my lifestyle. So what you're seeing in vitamins as well. So you said something about you hope that you don't have to use the eggs.
Yeah.
So are you saying that by God's grace, the idea would be for it to happen naturally, and naturally meaning intercourse?
Yes.
But if for any reason there is issue, then you have your eggs.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That is my personal choice, right?
Yeah.
Every woman is different.
Of course. Yeah.
Because I mean, be nice to just
Yeah, of course.
It's like mother's moments,
Yeah.
But yes, that is my desire. Again, I didn't do this just to let me go have a baby. It was really for my future with my husband, and I hope my husband appreciates it.
Yes, that you did the pre-work so that there will be no issues conceiving. Yeah. Okay, so final thoughts, final notes. What do you want anyone that's watching this? What do you want them to gain? What do you want them? Is there any insight that you're like, okay, make sure you go to this doctor? Like, what is the last final words that you want to just give our viewers?
Honestly, we need to take our bodies more seriously. Like I said earlier on, regular woman exam that we go to is not good enough. It's not good enough. Go and check your body. Even if you're not ready for the egg freezing, go and check your body and know what it's saying inside, because it would help you decide what you want to do. If I knew, that I had fibroids, if I knew that my uterus was divided, if I knew, how my body doesn't produce that much eggs, I would have done something faster, right? Of course, the cost is a lot, but $20 savings every day, in the future will help us to be able to get this done. So please go check your body, and honestly, don't wait till you're 30. If you can do it earlier, do it earlier. Go get your eggs frozen. With the kind of food that we eat these days and the things that we put in our body, fertility issues becoming more and more of a problem for women. So don't wait till you're 30. If you can do it as early as even 25, go get your eggs frozen. It will be so instrumental for you and your future. And just really taking care of our body a lot more would definitely help. But please talk to your doctors and go get checked.
Whew. Listen, I came to interview you, but I learned so much from myself that I'm going to take. It's important to know what your body is saying. I have fibroids, and I now go to a yearly checkup on my uterus to say like what eggs and all that stuff. So it's really, really important to know what your body is saying. And Esther, I can't thank you enough for wanting to share this with a lot of women, because there's a lot of curiosity, there's stigma, and there is lack of information.
Yeah.
And
so
we
need to talk about it a lot more.
Yeah, and we need to talk about it a lot more. Yeah.
Like, it should not be a shame anymore to say, you know what, I'm going to go get my eggs frozen. Like, it should not be a shame anymore. A lot of us keep it hush hush. What is the point?
Yeah, because they feel there's a stigma as well that it didn't happen naturally. At the end of the day, God put the idea of this in someone's brain, and they developed it for the world. So God is still involved, because the thought comes from the Lord. So I really believe that do what is necessary. If you have to start today, eat healthy, do the wellness stuff, but get checked and make sure that you know what your body is saying. And if you are over the age, then there's IVF, there's what's the one that the celebrities do? There's a surrogate. Like there's so many other alternatives to having children.
There's adoption.
There's adoption.
Like, there is no shame anymore. A child is a child.
There's adoption.
Like, there is no shame.
Yes.
And even just even to tap into the whole surrogacy, a lot of times it's even much more of a bigger shame. Yeah. Please, if you have the money and you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, however you want to have your baby, have your baby. Yeah. We should not, like honestly, I feel sometimes it's we women that are shaming each other. It shouldn't be anymore.
Yeah.
Have an open communication and learn. Because I learned a lot just like hearing a few of my friends talk about it, because we had to intentionally actually have to say it out loud to each other. But a lot of times we just want to like, oh no, I don't want
people to know and like think that this like my child was a science experiment. And no, your child is still a blessing from the Lord no matter how they come into the world.
Yeah.
Esther, thank you for sharing. This was beautiful, and Esther has so much more coming to her channel, QueenEsther.
Yes.
So please do tune in for more episodes. And if you have any questions that she did not answer,
Please ask.
Please put it in the comments so she can answer the
'Cause
questions.
Yes,
I'm
so
sure.
much more,
Yeah, there's so much. We just didn't want to do a 3-hour video, but I'm sure there's so much more to share.
Yeah.
But if there's specific questions that you guys have for Esther, we can come back again and we can answer those questions. But Esther, thank you so much for sharing your story. Like it was so beautiful, and I wish you well. And I cannot wait to see you become a mommy. So we can be like, it's the little Esther's running around.
Oh, did I also mention that you have to pay every year to store your eggs? Oh, wait, sorry. Wait.
Really?
Yeah, there's a storage fee. Sorry. Yeah.
And what is that?
$800. Yeah. Every hospital is different. Mine's $800. They actually just sent me a bill to tell me that next year it will be $1,000. But look at the bright side. You have a baby. That Gucci bag that you're supposed to be buying, freeze those eggs.
Okay. And thank you.
Yes.
Because I think that was a huge tip to end with. But
Yes.
yeah, please do like, comment, subscribe
Yes.
to QueenEsther's channel. Thank you so much for watching.
You.